Hey guys, so this is the cycle analyzer I use, and you can see right here, these are the closes, and you can see that right now we're at $6.67. First thing I want to show you is the dominant cycle as of today. You can see that the dominant cycle is 96 from the inception of this IPO, which opens, I think, somewhere around June the 12th. The dominant cycle has been 96, and now you can see that the dominant cycle has bottomed out somewhere around September 15th, and it's now pointing higher into November. So in the short term, if this dominant cycle is going to play out, that's going to be bullish. This is also the dominant cycle right here on the top of the graph. You can see how it kind of fluctuates with the price, and it bottomed out. It's a little off here, off center, but it's close. And now they're pointing higher. That's the first thing about the dominant cycle. Now, when you go to the spectrum analyzer, the one with the strongest peak is the 260 cycle. And you can see from its start, peaked here, somewhere around February, and then it bottoms out here, September or August, September, and then it peaks all the way in January of 2022. The next one that jumps out at me in the spectrum analyzer is the 96, which I showed you, which is the dominant cycle. And then the last one is the 23 cycle, but you can see it's a little more fractal. It goes up and down quicker. So that one has a strong strength. You can see that we bottomed out here, and then it peaked up here somewhere around September, but the peak was around August 30th. It's peaked on the 3rd. So sometimes it doesn't line up, but it's just kind of giving you like the directions. And if it plays out, because we're dealing with probabilities. But right now, the 23rd cycle bottomed out, and now it's pointing up. The 96 cycle is pointing up. This is a daily chart. And then the 260 cycle is pointing up. So when you get those three, the 260, the 96, and the 23, you merge them all together. This is what they call a composite, and this is what you have. Now, I just want to make this clear. Is price action going to follow this? No. We're dealing with probability. I've always said it in my channel. Price action is king. Price action is going to do what it's going to do. Price action could just probably continue pushing lower and maybe go to $3, $4, $2.50, who knows? And just totally ignore this cycle. But if price action starts turning around and starts making a higher high and a higher low, and then closes above, let's say, this swing pivot high of 859, and goes up and then retests it, finds support, and then continues going higher, then the probabilities are that maybe AppHarvest is following the cycle, and maybe price projections could be going higher into the future. So just wanted to put that out there. Not that this is going to exactly play out, but I'm dealing with probabilities. So if I want to be bullish now, I would like to see at least the cycles pointing higher. And right now I'm just showing you that they are pointing higher. So I have that on my side. And the next thing you will see is that Right now, if this low holds, that's a failed new low. That's something else you want to see if the cycles are going to play out. That we're not pushing lower, which could, but if we don't, and next week we turn around and we just start going higher and maybe retest at 869 around there, 65, and then push higher and maybe hit this at 11 and stall, then you can see that maybe we're going to do, stepping, higher highs, higher lows, and we pull back and we do that, continue. And maybe if it plays out, we could continue going all the way into next year with the Christmas rally and all that stuff. But, I'm just speculating and just getting ahead of myself. I'm just showing you the reasons why I'm bullish now. Another thing I want you to notice is that right here, we opened up the IPO was in June 12th, somewhere around there that week. And it just kind of went sideways. July, August went sideways. Nothing really going on in September. And then notice what happens here. See, maybe we can open it up a little more. We don't have that much data, so we just got to work with what we got. Somewhere around September 24th, 25th, 28th, then boom, we get this big bid of buying. And it hits the September 29th, and then it kind of pulls back, then it goes up again, then it just kind of goes sideways. And then here, November 13th, things now it just takes off, starts going higher, goes sideways, and then it gets another bump up. And then they pull it back in, and then it gets a massive bump all the way to February the 2nd, which was a high of what, 42.90? I've been studying the chart, so some of these prices are fresh in my head. These are closing prices, so it doesn't tell you exactly. It closed at 36, but the highest price on February the 2nd was 42.90, if I'm not wrong. 42.60 or 42.90. It went up as high as there on the 2nd, and then it's just been pulling back. So we're entering that phase, if you're looking at patterns, that things started moving was in the last week of September. And we are September 24th was Friday, 25th. So this week should be interesting to see how we play out and with the cycles pointing up, if this has a turnaround. So I just wanted to put that out there just for you to see. One of the reasons why I'm engaged with the stock now and active and purchased some, and it wasn't a lot. It was just building a position just to see if it plays out. If I see higher prices going up, then I start accumulating more. But I want to just nibble my feet in there and just kind of get wet and just see what happens and show you guys how I do some analysis and just kind of see, probabilities if it would play out. And if it doesn't play out and it starts pushing lower, then I just have to get stopped out or close it and say it's not following the cycles, it's doing its thing, and we move on to the next trade. So this is one of the reasons why, and I'll continue with the next video clip. Now I go to the website called FinViz. You can see some trend lines, cool charts. One of the reasons I come in here just to see some of the headline news. You can see that some class action lawsuits have been filed. The latest one, September 24th. Sometimes I find it interesting when cycles bottom, all these negative things start appearing. But I guess they've been appearing for a while. You can see one in August 16th. Security law violations. Some shareholders lost money. So a lot of things. You could probably scroll through here and look. I don't know when all the lawsuits and all the negativity started kicking in. But in August it started. August, September. But something if you want to look at and read into, very risky. Like I said, who knows what if all this stuff could really tank the stock. But figured I showed it to you. And then you can see some stats. What I wanted to show you is that insider trading, which is perfectly legal. There's a director, chief financial officer, director, and the president. They've been buying from August 20, 19, 18, 16. And I don't know if there's any newer information that I'm aware of, but it's good to see at least somebody's buying these low prices. They got in at $6.94, August 19th. So shows you the amount, and they filed. So I like to see that also if I have a bullish thesis in regards to the stock. I don't want to be seeing a bunch of people selling inside, getting out of it and getting rid of it. I like to see some accumulations from the insiders, because then that confirms my thesis that maybe things are going to start turning around. So that's one thing I like to look at. I figure I showed it to you. But the negative side is that all this class action lawsuits are piling up. And you can see that on September 24th, one came up. You can click on it and read about it on your own. And then you can see some of the chatter on social media, what people are talking about the stock there. You see some stats here and the chart. This is one place I recommend for you to put on your bookmark on your web browser and type in the ticker symbol and check it out. We're going to go on to the next clip. So in this clip, this is analysis provided by TipRanks. And I wanted to show you some scorings on this AppHarvest. It's rating at 6, which is like neutral. You can see some analyst rating, strong buy, average price target is $12.33. Some insiders bought. You can see in the last 3 months, so that's positive. No hedge fund activity. Sentiment in the last 7 days have been bearish, and we all know that. Blogger opinions, average 7.53%. So bullish. Investors sentiment consensus is very positive. The last past 7 days. Technicals are negative, and we all know that. And the fundamentals, you can see all that. Analyst consensus, I'm targeting between 14, around there. The next couple of quarters, 3 have a buy, no sell or hold. Sometimes I look at this, 50-50. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. So take it with a grain of salt. But it's just always good to look at. These are the analysts that are covering it. Target of $10, $13, and $14. Somewhere around there. This was a month ago, but a month ago we were still selling. So they're still recommending maintain, initiated by corporate insider activity. You can see that they've been buying. There's a positive sentiment based on 4 informative inside transactions by unique insiders over the last 3 months. These are the directors. This was 15 days ago. It was filed, an uninformative buy. So 15 days ago, they've been accumulating. So I like that. Informative buy, that was a month ago. I think that's what we saw on FinViz. But this was just recently. These are directors, so I like that. They're putting money in, putting skin in the game like I am. Maybe they do cycle analysis, who knows, but they're buying, so that's a good thing. Hedge fund, there was no activity, news sentiment, it's bearish, especially with all the lawsuits going on. And some keywords, you see a graph of media coverage on the analysis. News articles, you can see that the latest one is that lawsuit. Investor sentiment. The last 7 days, negative 2.1. Last 30's positive 2.2%. And people that bought AppHarvest also bought these companies. And investors subscribing to Top Ranks who bought AppHarvest also bought these: Fubu, Lucid Group, Palatar, Okay, so here's the master chart I wanted to show you. Probably my last clip. One thing I wanted to show you is that there is divergence with the RSI. Even though we haven't really pushed the low, you can see that the energy to the bottom has been dwindling a little bit. Hopefully we have a fail new low here, and the 666 holds, and then it turns around and follows the cycles. But one thing that is promising also is that the divergence on the RSI is very obvious right here. Even though we haven't even pushed the lower, you can see that it's a little higher. The next thing I wanted to show you is these dates. So from the open to yesterday's date, which is Friday, 496 days. From the open to this high is 235 calendar days. All of these are calendar days. And from the high to the low, or to this Friday's close, which was September 24th, 234 days. So there is a balance point right here in regards from the open to the high, from the high to September 24th. Something just to keep on the back of your radar. What does it mean? No, just see that it's a balance short term at this price range. Let's get all that out. Spectrum analyzer I have. There was a 3 peaks that I picked out of all the data, which is not much. It's like 400 and I got it here already. 469 days of cycles to sniff, analyze. And these are the ones that jumped out at me in regards to the peaks, which is different from the other technique that I used from the first chart I showed you in the video. And this is the composite. It bottoms out here and it peaks out somewhere around November using relative strengths as an input. So that's that. The solar cycle, it's not really going to be much help because we don't really have a lot of data. As you can see that it's mirror image of this past move here. Is this going to play out? Who knows, but there's not that much data, so it's not going to be really relevant. I ran computer neural net, and it has a buy signal on the 23rd or 24th, around there. And there's a certain, other different signals here. So is this going to be, another catalyst to, it could be, but we'll see. This is what I showed, this last buy signal before we get into October. And I think that's it. Anything else I wanted to show? That's pretty much it. I'm just building, researching this, chart. And I haven't done other things, other techniques that I include when I'm doing an analysis because I just don't have time. But I wanted to show you this divergence and the dates in regards to the symmetry of time. So next week is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. If it continues pushing lower, then it's not ready to go up, and price action is going to do its thing. And when it's ready to go up, it's going to go up. But if we're dealing with probabilities and there's certain pockets of things that are looking bullish, then hopefully we will see something turning around, hopefully by next week. Even if it just goes sideways, that's a good sign too, because now it's finding a base and it's just consolidating and then when it's ready to do its move, it's going to do it. But a lot of the things I've been noticing are very promising, especially like this short little seasonal pattern. I mean, when I talk short, it was really short of this move here. It may play out, may not, but we'll see. I'm in on the stock market on AppHarvest. I'm in at 697. I bought it a couple of days ago. I even posted it on my YouTube community channel that I think is going to be a great trade if all this stuff plays out. So I'll keep you posted. We'll see how next week goes, and we'll take it from there. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on AppHarvest. You double again, price and time, technical analysis.